Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to my little urban homestead and welcome to Fabric Friday. We're doing a lot of dressmaking, clothes making anyway, for quite a few weeks now. I thought I might show you how to do a buttonhole. One on the machine with the buttonhole attachment and how easy that is, and two, the old-fashioned way of doing it without the attachment, how you could do it on a machine that has not got a buttonhole foot. As long as it's got a zigzag, you'd be alright. I sew the buttons on by hand because although I know you can do it on a sewing machine, I don't want to. I feel very nervous about doing that, and it's quite a bit of time, I think, to line it up so that your needle goes in the holes and won't break. I think it's actually quicker to do it by hand, so I always do it by hand. So I won't be showing you how to use your sewing machine to sew on a button, because I don't do that. However, Sue Knuckles, who I've recently subscribed to, she recently put out a video explaining how you can sew on a button using your sewing machine. So I'll leave a link to her channel below, and go and have a look. Look at others as well, if you want to go down the route of actually sewing your buttons on with the sewing machine. I'll stick to hand sewing them on. I'm a bit nervous of it. So I'll now show you how to sew a buttonhole. This is the foot that came with my machine, and you basically just drop the foot that you normally use, that comes off, and you put this on. In the back of here I've got a button. You can do any size button. That's a small one. This is a larger one. And it goes, this button actually doesn't fit its right way. If it's wrong way, it does fit. So I'll use that one because it's darker and you can see it. So, changing glasses. You fit the foot under, you take it, and then so it fits on the metal bar there. So there you can see now. It works better if your top thread is through to the bottom, so you can either take it off and rethread it, but what I do is put it down, drop my needle, pick my needle back up, and your top thread has caught your bottom thread. And if you wanted to bring both threads up to the top, you would carry on pull it and pull your bottom thread up. But I want the top thread to the bottom, so I pull it the other way round. Lift the foot, get anything thin that will go underneath, and there is my top thread now underneath. I've got black thread, well, navy blue, in the top so you can see how it's done. You put your fabric where you want your buttonhole to be, drop your foot, make sure it's pushed this bit that levers, you know, forwards and back, make sure it's all the way back, drop your foot, Now you have to change it to the buttonhole setting. So that's the buttonhole setting, but put it to the stitch width you require. Or rather, stitch length you require. So we'll do it on that one. And because your button's in the back, the machine will automatically do it. There's a little lever at the back. You pull it all the way down and push it until it clicks. Then hold your threads. Hold your threads and start it up and it'll do it. And that's all there is to it. Lift your presser foot, pull your fabric out. It's best if you do this on just a scrap of fabric first, so you can actually see the size width that's there. You use your stitch ripper and actually rip the fabric that's in between your buttonhole. But here's a tip: because you can go too far and go through the end of it, put a pin, a little metal pin, exactly at the end, so you don't want where you want your stitch ripper to stop. Put that there, and there's no way you can rip through metal with a seam ripper, so it'll stop before you go too far. So you just put it in and then push. It's awkward to do it like that. Push, and that pin stops your seam ripper going further. Turn it round. Put the pin in that side and do exactly the same. Now, as this is just for demonstration purposes, I haven't bothered about my stitch width, my stitch length, because it's just demonstration. But I would actually put it on a smaller stitch length for that. And as you can see, the button that was in the back now will go through easily. That's the new way of doing it. The old way of doing it, if you've not got one of these feet, I'll pretend I haven't got one at the moment, put on my normal foot that I can do zigzags with. Set the machine to a zigzag stitch. I'll take it small on the fabric that we've got. Place your button where it wants to be, or where you want it to be. Mark a line at the top, a line at the bottom, and then a straight line between the two. That's where you want your buttonhole to be. So if you slide it in under, you look where your needle is going to come out. And drop it down. Now this is going to take me a wideish stitch, which I don't mind at the moment. I've got this wrong because doing it. Right, I've turned it round now. I want a smaller width, so I'll drop it to a 2, but this is where you play around with what size you want, and then you just sew down so your needle does not go on your line. Now pull your needle up and take it to its largest stitch length. Drop it down, and there it is. And you actually want to then take it so it doesn't do any more than just a couple of stitches in the same place. Take it back so it's on this left hand side. Turn your fabric around, lift it up. As you see, your needle will be going towards the right, so you can just move your work slightly to where you want it. You want it back on the smaller stitch and a little bit back to where your stitch length was, and then go down again. Just see, is that coming up in the right place? And then go for it. And then when you get down to the bottom mark that you made, make sure you're on the right, lift your needle, and you want to take it to its largest again, and so it doesn't move, and just do a couple of stitches there. Now you can see that line down the middle, but this is giving you the idea so you know to play with the stitch size, where it goes, but that will give you a buttonhole exactly where you need it. There's possibly a bit too much space, but that's what you do. You can tell I aren't used to doing it like this. I use the foot that came with the machine, but you can see that the pin stops the seam ripper going too far. So now you've got a buttonhole there, and your button will go through like that. So that's how you do it the old way if you haven't got a buttonhole foot. That's the way I first did it years and years ago, but they never had buttonhole fish then. They do now, and it's much easier, as you can see. But those are it. So thank you. Bye.